name is Louis. I'm from the Quebec LEGO user group. And today my presentation is an airbase, actually, representing the exercise Maple Flag. Maple Flag is an exercise that's organized annually by the Royal Canadian Air Force, bringing together US Air Force, Canadian Air Force, and often other air forces to collaborate and train together as one team. So I have several planes. I built a middle structure with all the infrastructure, with a main hangar, a radar, obviously, to control the airspace around the base, control tower, and also a fire station.
So is this based on any particular airbase then?
It's inspired by many pictures that I've seen from many bases. Particularly, for example, the control tower is inspired by Nellis Air Force Base, while the hangar is inspired by, I think it was a RAF airfield, an old airfield in the UK. So those are my main inspiration, but also Cold Lake in Alberta, obviously.
And one of the really eye-catching parts of this display is the great movement that you have with planes and vehicles around here. So how do you incorporate that into the build?
So this is actually a system called Brique, something that I've tested last year, and I thought it was working great. It added a lot of life to the actual setup. It's based out of like Duplo style brick. It's fully compatible with Lego. So yeah.
So you can see some of the kind of how it comes together here?
Exactly. So I have to, because this is based out of Duplo and the engine running the chain, it's a chain and gear system, is very high. I have to use 2-inch styrofoam from the rest of my airbase. So most of my airbase that you see actually rest on 2 inches of styrofoam in order to save on the bricks to build the mills plate everywhere else.
Yeah. So we can take a closer look at some of the planes now. Let's start with these here and kind of make our way around.
Sure. So you have 2 Hertz here. One is getting loaded with a bunch of stuff to be airlifted, because that's part of the whole air concept within the Maple Flag exercise. You have a second one. The second one, as I said, can run. The engine are spinning, the propellers are spinning. Unfortunately, I ran it for so long that all the gear now is worn out, so I'm no longer running it. But maybe next time if I see you, you'll see it running. It's very impressive with all the navigation lights on.
The exercise failed on that one.
Well, yes. So it's undergoing maintenance right now, and it's going to take a while before it's airworthy again. So if you look here on this side of the airfield, you really have the US Air Force partners that are coming up. F-14 that you probably recognize, it's Maverick F-14 from the first Top Gun movie. You have an F-16 that's just arriving. You have an old F-4 Phantom, because originally my idea was to recreate an airbase from the 1980s to 1990s. So that's why I love the F-4 Phantom. I love the camouflage on it. If you look on it, I have a lot of stickers. I use a lot of stickers that I make myself to do the camouflage. And then a little further on, you have the Harrier from the Marine version. Again, you have the Marine, the USAF, the Air National Guard, all represented here, along with the RCAF. And finally, you have the A-10 at the other end, with all the ground equipment, the lift, the loaders, bomb racks, the refueler truck, and so on and so forth. All the equipment is represented.
Yeah, it feels very lifelike with all the action going on.
Yeah, thank you. So here you have actually some Grippins. So I projected myself way in the future here, integrating some of the first Grippins. Then you carry on, you have the F-15. So the F-15 is actually running on its own. Every 10 to 15 minutes, the system the tracking system will shut down automatically to protect from overheating. But here you see, and you have a tow truck ahead of it. Then if you move further down on the tarmac, you will see the Canadian portion. So this is actually representing a Canadian Air Force base. So you have the F-18, the Legacy Hornet. You have a squadron of them, along with another Gripen. At the other end, the first helicopter that you see is it's a special helicopter. It's actually a a Russian Mi-17. So this helicopter is actually wearing the Canadian colors, and it was used in Afghanistan between 2009 and 2011 by the Special Forces. It was a ruggedized helicopter, well suited for the type of environment, high altitude, and it was rented to from a Canadian company at the time until we acquired the new Chinook CH-47. A little further down, you have the search and rescue. Obviously, if there's an accident during Maple Flag, you need to go on location very quickly. So you have a search and rescue helicopter, a CH-146 Griffin. You have the military police. And then at the other end, in order to control the airspace and have a very wide coverage of the area while the exercise is going on, you have an AWACS, E-3 Sentry AWACS. It's manned by a Canadian air crew, actually. So there's a Canadian detachment at Tinker Air Force Base that man some of those AWACS aircraft as part of the NORAD. Then you have, if you move into the hangar, the main hangar, you will see some repair going on an F-16 actually, and lots of activities over there.
Really incredible layout here, and I love kind of the different factions that are represented, and like we said, the lights and movement also just really make it pop. So when you bring this to a show, what does it take to set this up? How long does that process take?
So it takes 10 hours to set up, another 5 hours probably to tear down. The construction itself spans about 2 to 3 years. Only spare time, obviously. I don't neglect my other duties in doing so, but every aircraft, like the small aircraft, will take anywhere between 30 to 40 hours to design and build. Then if I make some more of the same version, I use that as my plan because there is no plan. Will take me 10 to 15 hours to build an extra one. The big aircraft like the AWACS, the KC-135 that I forgot about, the refueler, will take about 60 hours to put together. Plus the decal, all the sticker work, the design of the sticker, you can add another 10, 15 hours just for that.
Amazing work here. And do you plan to expand on this in the future at all? Is there more you want to add?
There's more that I want to add, but not to the show. This is the largest that I will bring to a show, but I have another idea that's going to be focused on aircraft for next year. Like every season, I try to build something new, something different, but I will stay within the aviation team, but it's going to be something different next year. What I do, though, is that my plan is to set this up as a bigger airbase with all the supporting buildings, a landing strip also at my home. But this is a work in progress. It's not, but it's part of it that you see here today.
Perfect. Thank you so much for taking us through the whole layout here. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Just. Thank you.